Good evening and welcome to Community Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada, around the globe. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm your host. I have invited very respected community activists and leaders who are making a significant contribution in building bridges, building loving, caring society, and contributing toward youth leadership. So I welcome Brother A.Q. Mufti and Brother Fasih Syed. Thank you very much. We have more guests will be joining us as we progress the program. So I'm going to start with Mufti, A.Q. Mufti. A.Q. Mufti, I know him as long as I have lived in Mississauga. He has been our spiritual leader when we started the Mendez Islamic Center project. He was Imam, and he's a brilliant IT specialist and Islamic scholar, community activist involved with so much charity and community work, unbelievable. So I'm going to ask A.Q. Mufti to just briefly introduce yourself for a minute about yourself. Who is A.Q. Mufti?
Brother Tahir Qureshi, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum to your all, and good evening to your viewers and listeners. And first of all, thank you very much for giving me the chance to come to your program. Mashallah, you have said so much about me. I feel very humble for that. And mashallah, your contributions are also, admirable, that the way that you have worked with the Mendez Islamic Center. I know those days when, originally we got the masjid, and there was nothing at that time. There was, the bank loan was there, and then it was, mashallah, with your and your the team's efforts, but it was paid off within no time, alhamdulillah. And now we are getting into the construction phase, after getting the, city's approval as well. So, mashallah, may Allah reward you for that. And kudos to you. But I'm just a humble servant. Nothing to say about me, sir. I just wherever I find myself, if I could contribute to the society at large, to the communities around us, I just try to be a part of that. So that's my introduction here.
Thank you very much. He's a very humble person. We will talk about the contribution he has with the Credit Valley Hospital, the police board, the Halton boards, and so many things that he does. We'll talk about a little bit later. So now we welcome Patrick Mendez joining us. I'm going to ask Brother Fasih Syed. He is a founder of Unity in the Community. Could you please introduce yourself? Could you please face toward the camera?
Assalamu alaikum, Tahir Qureshi. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting us on this beautiful discussion, bridging the diversities. That's a very beautiful topic we are going to deliberate today. So my name is Fasih Syed. I'm, as you said, that I am the founder of Unity in the Community. This organization is basic in an object was to bring the communities together, as your topic is. So we've been doing some other work, but today we are going to discuss bridging the diversities. That is a very important topic. Thank you, Tahir, for inviting us.
You're most welcome. He's incredible. He has done so much work, blood donation, fundraising. He has an amazing team that is working and helping community in Mississauga, and he has extended himself to the Brampton and other areas. That's remarkable because we are making a difference. You guys are leader. You guys are humanitarian activists doing selflessly, helping, lifting our fellow citizens. Now I have my another community leader, Patrick Mendez. I know him for a long time. Very humble person, never say too much about it, but this time I like to hear from him. Who is Patrick Mendez? What he is doing? So you have 1 minute to introduce yourself, then we'll go to the topics. We're going to have 3 stages. One is introduction, second is activities, third will be the closing remarks. So everybody get 1 minute, a last message coming to you as a leader to our diverse community. So Patrick.
Thank you, Tahir, and it's good to see my good friends Mufti and Fasih. I'm very optimistic about the future. I think our youth are doing a tremendous job. Our schools are doing a tremendous job. So even though we're going through a period of uncertainty, especially what's going on in the United States, even in Canada, but I'm optimistic that the next generation has got it right. Have got it right, and they know what the indigenous people have gone through in Canada in past years. They're open to solve these problems. They're not going to shove these problems under the rug or sweep them under the rug. They're willing to face it. They're willing to bring on change, and we've seen how the youth, the future of tomorrow, have attacked climate change, and the same thing they're doing with racism. So I'm very optimistic about the future. I know we are going through a very a bump right now, but we will overcome it.
Yeah, no, this is amazing. I was my first last week. I have a community talk about community participation, and I was so delighted to learn that 90% were 18 and 19 years, boys and girls, delivering food across GTA, run by our fellow Ariane and his group. And I happened to have a girl came online and she was talking about. I was shocked and pleased that our youth are taking a step forward, like you suggested, Patrick. And this is a great thing for all of us that we are seeing the progress. So we will have 2 more gentlemen will be joining us. One is Irfan Malik, and then we're going to have Joe Horneck will be joining us shortly. So we're going to begin the conversation is that because of racism that is a little bit disturbing right now in America, and some feeling of sadness and mistreatment in Canada as well. Around the world, people are protesting. What effort as a leader, because I know we're going to start with Mufti, Brother Mufti, because he's been involved with so many community. He has a skill set, he can guide us, and then we will go toward that. So Mufti Bhai, can you tell us, with your effort that you have done so many things, I know you're involved with the police, you're involved with the hospital, you're involved with the Halton region, Peel region, so many places. Can you share that how this racism is affecting our diverse community? We are Canadian as a family, that's our community. So how do you see this is impacting or encouragement to how we can overcome this? Can you enlighten us? Then we're going to go to everybody to speak a little bit about it, your experience.
Yeah, first of all, Tahir, thank you for bringing this topic today. And before I go on further, Assalamu alaikum to Fasih Bhai and my dear neighbor, Patrick Mendez. Good to see you here.
He's amazing.
I will share with you something, about Patrick later on, when we move forward. Okay, just remind me about that. So, okay, so talking about racism and the building the bridges of understanding, I'll give you 2 examples. About 20 years ago, I established the Interfaith Council of Halton, which is still functioning and very, very progressively working. And during this time, we also gave a new concept, and which we called it Interfaith Youth Festival. What we used to do was we used to first program, when we conducted, we invited the grade 11 students from every single school in Halton region, including the Catholic schools and the public school as well. So we brought them there, but also we brought all the faith leaders in the same room. And then we had what we called it as the interfaith passport. So what we had was there was a set of same question that every student would ask from every faith leader. So at the end of the day, we had a comparative religious study in every student's hand. So then later on, we jumped into selecting individual schools, and we brought the faith leaders to the school. So in one sitting, we had about 300 to 400 to 500 students at the same time, which would go through all the faith leaders, and they will ask the question. There's open, discussions and question and answer. And also we had a town hall during the same day as well. So what happened was we conducted scientific surveys before the program, and then we conducted, after we held these sessions, the same survey we held it after that. So the main what we needed to know that what is the improvement about the knowledge about each individual student. And it was amazing that we got the result that we had 85% improvement on the understanding of the individual students about other faiths and cultures.
Oh, this is very, very important.
That is
dialogue
and by the way, this program is still going on every year. In fact, sometimes we have multiple days when we conduct this program. It's still going on for the last 15, 20 years.
Well, Fasih bhai, can you tell us a little bit about, you've been involved in so many activities. I have attended various programs, and could you tell us about? We have 2 minutes to explain, then we're going to go to the next subject. We have Patrick to input. So 2 minutes for you. Speak about the subject.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to congratulate Brother Mufti, who initiated these kind of activities in Mississauga. And he's inspirational for all of us. As far as I am concerned, and unit in the community is concerned, that way one thing, racism is just a natural thing. When immigrants from South Indian or Southeast Asians started coming in, I mean the color people started in, the white people have some kind of concerns about their future. And that's the reason, they have some kind of a supremacy. And
I don't think this is a white and color issue. It is maybe some talented, educated, more people are coming in, and maybe competition is more tougher.
Yes. So what our responsibility was that we have to bring them close to each other and deliberate with them and let them know our faith, our tenets, and our culture, and hear to them. So accommodation is the best, and deliberation is the best thing to come close to each other. So unity in the community on this mission started, deliberation with the other faith communities, and that is why we celebrated. We organized Christmas parties, and Patrick Mendez is here, and he was very cooperative in organizing those Christmas celebrations. Then we went to Gurdwaras for celebrating Vaisakis with them in this, and we went to synagogues to celebrate their. And we went there, we told them what the Islam is talking about, their religion, and we heard their faith. And then we started, removing our misgivings against each other. That is the way we can come together, we can bridge the gap.
Yeah, this is what I understand, because Brother Mufti, what he's talking about, I've been involved with many of them. And I see, because the more dialogue create more harmony, peace, and respect for each other's faith, and that builds the bridges. And it's very important. And also, you participate in good and bad times with your fellow citizen, and there are so many commonality in different faith groups, particularly Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. So we encourage people to participate and set aside, look at the humanitarian issues. All faith teach us humanity. If you are not following the humanity concept in your faith, doesn't matter which faith you belong, then there is a need for improvement in those areas. So I'm going to ask Patrick Mendez about the same subject. How do you feel, Patrick? what is happening, what you're observing, what have you participated, and something that you want to share. 2 minutes for you.
You see, this is not a new phenomenon, what's happening in Canada. If you look at the history of our country, for the last 150 years ago, it started with, the English. They used the indigenous people as allies to fight off the Americans.
Yeah.
And even 130 years ago, when Irish Catholics started coming to Toronto, the Irish Protestants were not too eager to welcome them, and there was a lot of trouble. And so every wave of immigrants had their problems. Italians, when they came into the country, the red carpet was not rolled out for them. They suffered through a lot of discrimination. And so what maybe we are going through as South Asians, it's not something new. There's always going to be a few misfits in the country who do not embrace you, but the majority of Canadians are very welcoming, and we have to look at the future with more optimism. And I'm an optimistic, and I'm not worried about. And even when we look at our police force, there may be a few rotten apples, but 95% of the police force, or even 98%, are good officers putting their lives on the line to protect us. So in every facet of society, diversity is working in this country.
Absolutely. The Canada is our fabric of unity is our multicultural society. And we have so much talent coming from almost 189 countries into Canada. And Canada is lucky, and we are lucky because it's so peaceful. People are struggling with them, so many things, and wherever our government is supporting us under coronavirus, giving funds to make sure livelihood is not affected by people. So I tell you, they have accepted us with all the weaknesses that we have back home, challenges we have back home. They accepted us here, and we have every responsibility to give back to the society, because we have been more rewarded than what we have brought in. So I think they have open heart, they welcome us, and we are giving back. And I tell you, our community has done tremendous contribution, especially during this month of Ramadan fasting. I'm talking about everybody. They were 18 years old kids were distributing food across GTA to churches, food banks, and the shelters. I was shocked to see 18 years old, 19-year-old boys and girls delivering when we were wearing masks and staying home. That they took the risk. So this is a good thing. Our youth generation is really active. So I think the Mufti Bhai has done some work in this area with the various police department and other areas. Can you enlighten us your experience that what have you been teaching? I know you've been going there teaching them to more understand about how we behave. So there is always a fear of mind for unknown that cause problem for assuming something is bad and things like that, what we see on social media. So right now, what Mufti Saab, what have you done in teaching? I remember you attended recently a class, 500 students were there. I watched that program actually. So can you tell us very specifically your experience with the police and how you are involved with them and contributing?
It's very interesting. It's a long story. Actually, it's spans around 20 years now, almost.
Recently,
Also, yeah. So, but just for your information, our current chief of police in Peel region, Mr. Durayappa. Actually, I know him since he was an officer. Actually, in Halton Police, he was our diversity officer in Halton region, by the way. So my relationship with him goes back almost like more than 15 years, almost, or more than that actually. So what happens was, as soon as it goes back to again 20 years ago almost, there was no diversity, not a single diversity officer in Halton region. Okay, so when I picked up the phone, I called the chief at that time, and I said, okay, this was after 9/11, by the way. I said, then
Yes.
our community is concerned. We have, issues to discuss. And why not we just simply sit and talk about it? So he started a meeting with all the communities together, and then we met within like a couple of days, 3 days, and 1 week, and so on. So later on, it became a regular Chiefs Forum. So that was the Chief Forum was starting from my call. So now there is a regular Chiefs Forum, which is done by every twice a month or so. Then there was not a single diversity officer. So first time they appointed us a diversity officer, and then they established a diversity department. The third phase was that they made it mandatory for every officer to go through the diversity training before they could pass on. So before they become the officer, they have to go through that. By the way, I give them the diversity training myself. So this is if you see the improvement of understanding between during this time, initially they did not even know what is halal and food and so on, right? So and now they bring halal food whenever I'm there, because I go there whenever the police officers they graduate. I do the opening, the benediction there, and when I'm there, they bring the halal food, for that, and also they have a special arrangement for my prayer, and not only prayer room is assigned for me, but they put the carpet in the direction of the Kaaba, because they know we face the northeast, so they know already now. So that is the improvement when you go and work with at every level you can. Then obviously the improvement of understanding becomes very easy.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, before I will comment, I will welcome Joe Horneck. He's a young entrepreneur. Welcome to our community coffee talk. I will take 1 minute to introduce yourself, Joe. Could you please introduce yourself, and then we're going to continue to the program.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for having me, Tahir. You've got a great program here, and I know a lot of the audience, the other panelists tonight are great people as well. I'm Joe Horneck. I'm a Mississauga resident. My background's in financial management, but I love to contribute to my community. So I try to help out wherever I can. I'm involved in a number of different charities and other organizations like Coffee Talk. And, I like to pitch in wherever I can and be relevant to my community and help out where I can.
Okay, we were talking about viewers about contribution being made by our community leaders who are my guest panel tonight. Mm-hmm. I remember in 2015 when we have election was going on. At that time, our community was targeted, and I did a seminar with the field police diversity unit, and it was about terrorism and hate crime. Yeah. At the city hall, if you remember, Joe. And I said that we all Canadian are my families. My community includes all ethnic diversity, and I'm not complete without you. That means we are all one family, one community as a Canadian. And I tell you, we have so much progress made since then, because I agree with Mufti brother and Fasih Bhai and Patrick that we have to educate. If people are afraid or concerned about something, they have apprehension, it's our job to educate them about and how much contribution our community as a diverse community, we are doing it. So this is amazing. As you can see, this last few years, our community has paid a tremendous contribution in all aspects of life, helping our fellow citizens, poverty reduction, food banks, raising funds. And our Mayor Bani Karami was taking the lead, and we were helping together as a team. So you can see that, you can check that out by Googling it. Now I'm going to go back now to brother, what is his name, Fasih Syed. So can you tell us your experience helping now? We're going toward a little bit helping. How can we create more positive activity to engage people other than offering them biryani and food, intellectual conversation with people, educating them. So we have a same mindset that we create love, respect, because if you want to earn a respect, you have to learn to give first. This is my philosophy of life. I must respect small child to the older person, then I will earn my respect from them. So what is your experience before I go to Patrick?
And Tahir bhai, as you know very well, that for the last 15 years, we are doing food collection drive. And as you did talk about 18 and 19 years old boys from our community, the Canadian Pakistani community, they are and delivering food. But on the other hand, you will encourage the 65 years old and 62 years old people who are supposed to be at home during this COVID-19 period, but they are on the streets collecting foods and distributing and delivering it to the needy people at their curbside. So unity in the community members, all of them are senior members, but the whole month of Ramadan, we being out. And we were not only collecting foods, but we are delivering to the needy people. And still we are providing. Yesterday we provided food at the doorsteps to 3 ladies. So alhamdulillah. So not only this, blood donation, as you talk about.
Yes.
We don't know where our blood is going, but we definitely know that we are going to save life of our fellow Canadian. That is it. And in this way, we are collecting funds for Credit Valley Hospital. And in Credit Valley, all kinds of people are coming for the treatments, from all walk of life, from all religion, faith, and tenets. They are coming. But we don't discriminate anything. We do for the betterment of Canadian society. We love Canada, and we are giving our shares to the Canadians, fabrics, and we are telling them, see, we are pure Canadians. We are giving you. We are not taking you. We are giving you. If we are providing food to our indigenous people in Nunavut, we send there our food with a message, a gift from a Canadian of Pakistani origin from Toronto to our fellow Canadians. So in this way, we can win their hearts. We can ask them to understand our religion, our faith. So
Fantastic.
we are bridging the gaps.
Fantastic. So before you mentioned about Credit Valley, and I can tell you, Brother Mufti is a pioneer, leader, visionary, who raised $250,000 for the first session. Then he raised his commitment and pledged to $500,000. I have been a participant because our Mendez Islamic Center, I was trustee, and now I'm still the chair of the project. We contributed with him. Nobody can match the energy, the leadership, and vision and passion that Mr. Mufti brought. I salute you, sir, for your contribution and taking the leadership. Thank you very much for your service.
I'm humbled with your words, but I just did that, whatever I could. But I think nobody can do it alone. This is all, you are all part of the whole process. And it's a collective effort.
It's a collective effort, but there is a leader who takes the lead, and that's where you started it. And I know we join whenever we can, but you continued for it, and you raised the bar, and we really appreciate your contribution. Now I'm going to go to Patrick before I go to John. Patrick, can you give us a little bit? We have 1 minute for you, then I have 2 minutes for Joe, and then we're going to take a break. So Patrick, 1 minute, you can sum this up, the whole thing that we talk about.
Tahir, I'd like to take on the challenge that you have put forth. What can we offer our Canadian society more than biryani and samosas?
That's right.
I think what we've learned from this COVID-19 is that we have uncovered how our seniors are so mistreated in seniors housing and in nursing homes. Over 80% of the people who have died through COVID have been seniors. And we as the South Asian community have got to take on this challenge. We can start it off in Peel and Mississauga by having community homes. We don't have to build big senior housing and big nursing homes. We can have community homes within our subdivisions where we can have PSWs taking care of 3 or 4 seniors, maybe in 1 or 2 houses in a subdivision. There are many seniors who are living alone, and maybe they might need another senior to live with them to lower their cost and live in their communities. But this is the challenge. We have to come out of this COVID-19 as learning. And what we have to learn is that we have to treat our seniors with a lot more respect. If we had children dying in schools or dying in daycares, it would be criminal. And we should not allow what has just happened in the last 3 months with the amount of seniors that have died in long-term care facilities. This should not be tolerated in a first world nation like Canada.
Yeah, this is what I've been encouraging. A Voice of Community Citizen I created about 6 or 7 years ago. Purpose was to engage, building bridges, building loving, caring society. Youth leadership is my concept. I started, many people join us, and then they separated their own activities. The idea was, again, to bring our strength, collective strength together and help build something that benefits society. Before, after eating food or doing things for yourself, your family, you still have time and energy to help. I tell you, because I'm a senior myself. I'm 68 years old. My son is a doctor and his wife is a doctor. They told me not to leave the house because I have diabetes. That's they're saying 90% people are dying because of diabetes who has the coronavirus. So I was banned from leaving the house, and I have a project. Fortunately, unfortunately, they stopped the construction. So I just started the MIC project. So I couldn't leave, but I was on the phone, and I used this time to do this Awaz television program, Realty Coffee Talk, Mortgage Coffee Talk, this community coffee talk and I never thought that me and you, Joe, all Fasih Bhai and Patrick, we all going to be on the TV together. This is a learning experience, doing new way of business and communication, effective use of time. So this is taught us a new way of thinking. I think we're going to go take the break now, and then we can start with Joe. So viewers, we're going to take a small break. You are on Community Coffee Talk on Awaz television in Canada, around the globe. We're going to take a break. We come back.
अब बेरी में घर खरीदें या इन्वेस्ट करें आसानी के साथ, बिकॉज सनराइज होम्स प्राउडली प्रेजेंट स्टेशन टाउन्स इन बेरी नियर गो स्टेशन. बुकिंग सिर्फ $5,000 से और फिर सिर्फ $1,250 की 24 आसान इंस्टॉलमेंट्स. स्टेशन टाउन्स इन बेरी फ्रॉम हाई 400,000 with assignment. So call Wajid Malik with exclusive platinum access at 416-827-3333. 416-827-3333. Wajid Malik, trusted name in the community.
At Dame Drops told us how good Popeye's buttermilk biscuit shrimp is without us even asking.
So crunchy, buttery, just like those biscuits. Are you hungry yet?
8 shrimp, a side, and a biscuit for just $6.99.
At KM 9000 sang about Popeye's buttermilk biscuit shrimp because he was feeling it.
Shrimp, 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 shrimp. Shrimp, 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 shrimp.
8 shrimp, a side, and a biscuit for just $6.99.
Welcome back to Community Coffee Talk. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm your host. We're going to talk to Joe Horneck. So could you please, you have heard the conversation, you missed out quite a few things, but we're looking to see what can we do to eliminate racism or how we can help our community. We are a diverse community, and how we can help our, especially when we are in Mississauga, how we can help our fellow citizens without discriminating color, religion, faith.
Yeah. So, I mean, Canada and Mississauga are, great experiments in multiculturalism and bringing people from around the world together. And, all the people you have on today, I know, are people who cut across cultural barriers, build organizations that touch everyone in Canada's life in terms of contributing regardless of their backgrounds. But, I think we need more things like that. I mean, there are still a lot of issues we do have in our community. And, we do need our community to look a lot more like the people who actually live here. So, we have issues with the police and the school board where, we're not necessarily showing the community we have now, we're showing the community we had many years ago. I think we need to make the community more in touch with each other so we don't get stuck into our own little groups and enclaves. And I think one example I'd mention as a really good initiative was the Vietnamese community is building a monument in one of the parks. They renamed it. And it's called Saigon Park, and they're building a commemoration of the Vietnamese boat journey. So they've privately fundraised all this money for a big, beautiful sculpture that's going to go in, and it represents the Vietnamese community's story in Canada and how they struggled to come here. And I think that's a really good example of, naming a park Saigon Park. It's not, the Joe Horneck Smith Park. It represents a bit more of the community and a bit more of our multicultural flavor. And I think, that's a good example of where you've got a great community contributing to the wider community, and that we're recognizing them by renaming something in their honor. And, people can go to this and they can look at it now, and it's something meaningful for people to come to Mississauga and get around.
Joe, I need you to share something that you've been involved, because I remember you did the traffic study I attended your seminar at University of Toronto, when Hazel was our mayor was Hazel McCannion. At that time, you did that transit study. You remember? Yeah. So something that you contributed so that people can lead from there.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I worked on was, transit and transportation was a big issue, right? And that cuts across everybody who has a job or has to get to school, regardless of stuff of where you're coming from. So, I mean, I think getting groups together that are from everybody's different community and contributing to what do you want to see your community look like, either on transit and transportation, on parks, on whatever you have. You need more organizations like the ones your other panelists have built to bring people together that cut across different cultural groups and organizations.
Okay, Brother Mufti, you wanted to say something about Patrick. So we're going to be wrapping up a program. So I will give you 2 minutes to talk about the Patrick, because I know he is a silent soldier. He never says something, but we have to say it about him. And you said, and then also you want to give your message to people based on your experience. You've been contributing for 25 years, I believe, in this saga, and how people should give them a vision, and also how you accomplish things, because I believe that we have to provide intellectual guidance and bringing the intelligent conversation in our dialogue, so we are able to understand other people, like you said, and they understand us, and then we work with harmony, peace, and build that respect for each other. And I think we have a fantastic society, but if there are weaknesses, we can overcome them.
I'll sum up in 3 points. First of all, let me talk about Patrick.
Yes.
He is, as you said, he's a silent soldier. He is involved in so many things, but he never comes up in the front. But recently, what happened? I got a doorbell rang in my home, and I came out, and then look who was there, Patrick Brown. And I said, "Oh, welcome! He's my neighbor, by the way. I can walk to his home." And he was holding, what do you call this? From the dry cleaning shop, he was holding a bag, with a couple of my trousers. I said, how come? I said, maybe he might have come from there because, he said, these are your trousers. I said, what? Because, the laundry shop, next door, it was closing down. And Patrick happened to be in that shop and he saw my name on that bag and he took it from him. He paid the money, without asking me. And then he brought the trousers to me, and which I almost forgot for 1 year. So this is the kind of, personality,
Wow.
I'm blessed to have as my neighbor. This is the kind of relationship I would say that we have to create between among ourselves, regardless of your color, creed, or whatsoever. We are human beings, and we have to take care of each other. And as I said, we are blessed to have such neighbors, to help each other. Secondly, I just want to share with one of my experiences. I'm also, by the way, a trained CPR trainer. I do used to train also for giving CPR. So what happened was I went to Gurdwara, for the Sikh community to give training for the CPR in that Gurdwara many years back. So what happened after I finished the training, one of the older lady came to me and she, started asking, she had her husband with her, and she talked to me in Punjabi, and she said, "Oh, Doctor Saab, mere ted ch peed ho rahi hai, to main ki kara?" So,
Saying she has pain in her stomach.
She thought of me as,
yes.
So what should I do? So I'm just saying, it's a joke. When I'm saying this is the kind of relationship that you build when you go to each other to help each other. They kind of build trust on you as well. So she felt that this is a trustworthy person. I can share my feelings with him too. So third thing is, as you mentioned about raising the funds for the Carrot Valley Hospital. And we've been blessed that we applied to a $250,000, which we already raised and gave to the Carrot Valley Hospital. Then we applied to another quarter to make it $500,000. Now, the point that I'm trying to make here is that this initiative is called from the Mississauga Muslim community, which is not an organization, by the way, just a loose platform to get everybody together. But what we did was that we made this forum open to every faith group, every other person. So we invited our brothers and sisters from Jewish community, from Christian community, from Hindus, from the Sikhs, you name it, the Buddhists and so on. So what happened was that during this time,
Mufti bhai, final message from you. Message. I need the message from you because we're going to be running out of time.
That open your doors and reach out to others to help each other. And have open dialogues with each other and be helpful to each other. As I'll sum up with one of the prophets saying, the Prophet Muhammad saying, he said that you are not a believer if you sleep with your stomach filled and your neighbor goes hungry. So that's the principle that we should follow.
Fantastic. Now, brother Syed, Fasih Syed, final message, 1 minute. Everybody will have 1 minute, please, because we're going to be wrapping up.
Yes, I will request, our communities in Mississauga, Brampton, and Milton that let's come together, have deliberations and consultations, and just understand to each other faith and beliefs, and just give away our differences and just try to understand and have accommodate to each other, because as Mayor Crombie said that there is no intolerance in Mississauga. So please tolerate each other, weak points and anything if you have in your mind, and have deliberation to just remove your misgivings or misconception of any religion. Because all religions are very beautiful, and we can live in Mississauga with harmony and with tranquility, and we can make Mississauga and Canada a beautiful, adorable country and city. Thank you very much, Tahir.
Thank you. Yeah, I always say that your work should speak, not your mouth. So we don't need the word. We need practical work on the ground. People will recognize your contribution, and they will appreciate and recognize and may God bless you as well. So I'm going to ask Brother Patrick Mendez, because he didn't go to a church meeting. I'm really grateful and honored for that. I really appreciate your contribution. And final 1 minute for you. Please go ahead.
No, I'm very grateful, Tahir, that you invited me for this coffee talk. I'd like to be on it more often. And like I said, I don't mind. I don't want to come across as being too optimistic, but there are a lot of good things happening in Mississauga, and the good things outweigh the bad things. And so, and I'm very, very happy at the way things are going with the youth, with the other communities mixing up. Joe Horneck brought up about the Vietnamese community. There's a group of Vietnamese that are that have also jumped on the role of helping the senior communities with delivering food, with raising money for the food banks. So by the Muslim community coming out, it's also challenging other communities to come out.
Yes.
And the Catholic community has always been at the forefront of charity in the form of the Covenant House that is in Toronto, and also the food bank that's in Brampton. That Fasih's group, I think, has helped out. I forget what it's called. The
Night table.
The night table. Sorry, it's the night table. I should have known that on the top of my lips. So that has been a Catholic charity. So here's the good thing: we have all communities helping one another and complementing each other.
Thank you very much. Joe, we got 1 minute because we are running out of time. So, Joe, final 1 minute of your message, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the guests have brought up a lot of great points. We do have a fantastic city. It's one of the best places to raise a family in Canada by far, if not the world. It's by no means perfect, but I think, one of the things I'd encourage the viewers to do is, get out and contribute to your community. Join organizations, start a neighborhood group. I mean, one of the things Mufti just mentioned is, him and Patrick are neighbors and they know each other. There's a lot of people who've moved to our community who haven't had that chance to meet their neighbors. So go out there and build something within your neighborhood that talks about issues that are relevant to your neighborhood, that cuts across cultures. It benefits everyone who lives there. And I think there's a lot of people, everybody on this panel is an extrovert, where it's easy for us to go and meet people. There's a lot of people in this community, it's harder. And so building someplace where you can take your issues, like a neighborhood group or a residents association, is a great start to help building your community from the bottom up.
Thank you. Thank you very much, participant. My viewers, you have seen the views of our community activists and leaders who are serving our community. We thank you for your time. If you ever need to participate on a community coffee talk, we are welcome to bring your programs, activities. You just give us a call and we'll be more than happy to accommodate your events, programs, everything. Again, on behalf of Awaz Entertainment and Community Coffee Talk, we thank our health workers, doctors, nurses, police officers for putting their life online to protect fellow Canadian citizens. We salute you. We pray for your safety. We pray for all of you, and may God bless all of you. Safety, safe, and may God bless Canada. Thank you very much. We'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thank you from Awaz Entertainment and Community Coffee Talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tahir. Stay safe.
Thank you.